So my story with mental health, I'm someone who lives with depression and anxiety. About a year and a half ago, I was in one of the probably worst spots in my life. How it ties into sport, one of the coping strategies that I found works best for me is physical activity. And what I do for that is run.
If you start to notice feelings are becoming intense and long-lasting, and they're starting to affect the way that you go about your everyday life, it may be time to talk to somebody, right?
Sometimes it does take being aware of what those warning signs are before someone can say, okay, I have this sort of weird feeling in my tummy, I don't really know what it is. Oh, maybe that's me feeling anxious, right? To be able to put words to what someone's experience is. So
this is something I wish that I had known at the time when I was starting to struggle. I eventually withdrew from the football team at a point. I went back eventually, but my struggles had gotten so difficult that I couldn't cope with everything that was going on around me.
Now within athletes, because there's so much pressure and emphasis on being physically and mentally fit and active and healthy, that they're even more likely to suffer from any mental health related problems.
1 in 5 are struggling. We're putting them in these high stress pressure cookers to perform. We're setting our children up for failure. But with sport, we just throw kids in Canada. We reward coaches who win, regardless of how they win. Throw the kid in, give them some soccer balls, and we're not teaching them the fundamental movement skills, how to hop, skip, jump, zigzag, do all these important things so they can do these advanced movements. It's incredibly vulnerable for them to move their bodies in an environment with other kids.
That's where the environment does play a huge role, where coaches and parents can play an enormous role for children, for athletes all the way up in age.
We know that whenever they suffer from a physical injury, right away there is a healthcare professional to ensure fast and speedy recovery. And ideally, we really want to do the same thing for whenever they suffer from mental health problems.
The idea is that sport is fun and safe for kids, and that they'll be engaged in it for the rest of their life. We know that for every adolescent boy that leaves sport, 5 girls leave sport. For a variety of reasons, so we're doing some work around how to train coaches to coach girls differently.
I recently ran a couple of months ago the Sporting Life 10K here in Toronto, and I ran the fastest 10K that I've ever run. Right? But about 900 people still crossed the finish line before me. Does that make me a failure? No, I still had a great day. I felt great about myself, and there was something that you can draw from that, right? Like, you don't have to say, oh, I'm in this running race, but I didn't come first, so I'm a loser, and I gotta feel bad about myself about that. It's about kind of looking at sport from a different perspective and saying, I'm enjoying participating in this physical activity, and I'm gonna continue to do it because it's making me feel good. And even if I come last, even if I'm like the 20,000th person across the finish line, I still get a medal and a bagel at the end of it, and I feel good.